Alright, today we are going to start our next video series on the channel. This is going to be testing out the Jurassic difficulty sandbox settings to do kind of a standard, basically Jurassic difficulty park build from the ground up on any map without all the usual restrictions of challenge mode. Now, a few other things to go over here. One, I hear that there's some quirks of this that don't really replicate the challenge mode experience. I heard that there's no taxation effect. I forget what it's called, if it's just income tax or whatever in challenge mode, where you get this increasing penalty as you go on, and then it becomes harder and harder to make more. You don't like make more and more money, right? You have to keep up with that income tax to maintain a decent income level. And apparently that's missing in Sandbox, which is going to really undermine the entire thing. It's not going to work very well without that, but we're going to try it anyway. I'm thinking we're going to do the Site B map. So the idea I have for this current video series, this next challenge we're doing, is, well, we got the Camp Cretaceous DLC. So let's do a Camp Cretaceous park build. And I'm not going to try and replicate the park itself. We're going to basically restrict ourselves to using species that show up in the show Camp Cretaceous. So I'm thinking we'll try out the DFW buildings here on Site B, just because it gets that camp aesthetic a little bit without us pushing, the actual Camp Cretaceous design. And Site B gets us the jungle vibe. I don't want to do a Nublar map here on this because I have plans for both of the Nublar variations in the future for future runs. Whereas I don't really have a plan for a Site B park, so we're going to go ahead and use Site B. I think we'll stay with Jurassic World for, again, the Camp Cretaceous era stuff. And then we want standard here. No, we want custom. Custom to set up the Jurassic difficulty stuff. I took a quick look at this earlier. It's a little weird. So we got weather, right? We can have frequent storms. We can have no weather. I think we're just going to go with the default here. Terrain will go with normal. Color grading, whatever. Egg failures, that's sandbox crap. Normal disease. So we could put this on high. But I find disease to be just tedious, busy work. So I'm going to actually leave disease on normal. Same deal with the storms. We can actually put storms on frequent, but also I find the storms and disease to be tedious, busy work. So we're just going to leave those alone. We're not doing anything here that improves the dinosaurs. We could do high escapes. I don't know what this does. Does this adjust their comfort threshold so they're more likely to escape maybe? I don't know. Let's put this on high escapes for this time, and we'll see if we see anything, if this tells us anything about that. If we could see anything about how this works. Comfort is just, it's on or off, doesn't toggle difficulty. Combat frequency, none are normal, so we have that on normal. Vehicle aggression, all that's normal. We're going to put sabotage risk on harder. We'll maximize sabotage risk. That's a bit more interesting than simply disease and stuff like that, I think. Cash. Now this is interesting. You can start with 0 cash. And as far as I can tell, this means you just lose. Because you can't bring in any dinosaurs in. Maybe some of the maps do start with wild dinosaurs and then this works. But from what I saw, that is not true for Site B, sorta. The map, as it is in Sandbox, you don't start with dinosaurs here. So I think we'll do low. I think low will work for this challenge. I think we could probably do low as the standard for these park builds, at least for the time being. Appeal difficulty will be Jurassic. Guest target count will be Jurassic. Income total will be Jurassic. Contracts on. Narrative events on. I don't know what this does, but we'll leave it on. Scientists on, of course. Unrest is on. I think these are all just binary toggles. Expeditions on, research on, task time 100%. I actually kind of wish you could make this worse than just better. Hopefully they address these. Hopefully they add more variation to these in the future, and hopefully they add an income tax slider too, because we really need that. Also, another problem I see here, no randomized dig sites, which makes me really sad. We start with the same dinos in every park run, which is really frustrating. That really disappoints me. I think there's a good possibility that that is not going to change because of the way the research tree works. With the dinosaurs being locked in there. But hopefully they come up with a good scheme that randomizes that or somebody mods it. Because honestly, the second there's a randomization mod out, I'm going to install that. I've been approaching mods with the idea of holding off on them for a while. But the moment we can actually just have a mod like that is a must-have in my mind, we'll just start doing mods. So that should be the best we can do for simulating a Jurassic level challenge in Sandbox. It's going to be easier than any of the challenges because we don't have the restrictions and everything. But we can at least do a few of these while we wait for them to, you know, actually make this difficult, I guess. And we might have some struggle at the beginning still because it might actually be... The beginning stages of the parks will probably be more complicated because of our self-imposed restrictions, like in this case only using Camp Cretaceous species. But it'll become easier in time. So, let's look at the map. This is the Sorna map. We've got a little side thing and then 2 main nodes here. I think we'll probably set up... Maybe we can set up here, like this? No, I think I want to set up here. So, what I want to do is we're going to put in Camp Cretaceous species, and we're going to try to emulate some of the elements of Camp Cretaceous. And what I mean by that is, like, there's a gyrosphere roundup scene in Season 1 that's got a bunch of dinosaurs alongside gyrospheres. So let's put, you know, those dinosaurs in gyrosphere tour areas. So what I'm thinking we'll do is I think we'll turn this into our gyrosphere tour branch. So this is where most of those herbivore paddocks will go with gyrospheres, Sinoceratops, Parasaur, Brachy. Those will all go over there. So I think we want to get our starting area kind of close to that. So I think maybe our starting enclosure will be this lake here. So I think we'll start building maybe here, right by these trees. How do we do that? So we need our arrival point. Oh, and another thing. Oh, we should also look at the elevation here. So I stream this on Twitch when I'm recording these. And basically... I am on Twitch the entire time I'm recording these, and the recording is only recording parts of the playthrough when interesting stuff is happening. This looks like a good base level here, by the way. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to upgrade my Twitch experience a little bit by, well, you can see now in this video, for instance, that there's a little bit of a UI here on the top end of the screen up here. There's also chat right here in this corner. So let me know if you think these elements are a little too intrusive on the YouTube video. I can try and work out something different for the future. We'll just smooth this out slightly because I fucked it up a little bit. But for this series, at least, this is going to stay. And this is kind of a placeholder UI for my Twitch stream. I'm going to tinker with that a little bit too. So this UI, as it is laid out here, is not necessarily permanent either. Do we not have contour on when building? Is that... Yeah, settings, gameplay, shown other construction modes, yes, okay. I wonder if I never had that on and I've just never cared, because we always start with the arrival points anyway, or if I've just never had that on. So, I think we build with this, maybe this edge in line like that. Yeah, I think we'll do that. So I think we're going to start our arrival point right here, I think, is good. And then I want to do kind of a 3-branch layout right off of the starting position here. So we'll swing out this way, we'll swing forward, and we'll swing this way. So basically the idea is we're going to have our herbivore section over here off of a gyrosphere tour that probably starts right here at this neck. And then our first enclosure is going to go over here. And we're actually going to start with a carnivore in this park. We'll get to that when we actually get the dig, whatchamacallit in. The Expedition Center, that's what you call it. Can we fit you here? It looks to me like we're going to hit that edge. Yeah, so I didn't really plan the layout. I did like a really quick test run of this before I started the actual video. Maybe if we put the Science Center in first, it'll fit in here nicely. Yeah, okay, so the Science Center here will work pretty good. So we'll put the Science Center in tight just like that. We'll continue the straight path off here. I think this will be a good placement. We'll put the viewing gallery kind of somewhere like right in here, looking directly over this lake. So for the rest of the infrastructure here, We can grab the Expedition Center, put that in next. Yeah, I think we'll just tuck everything kind of back in over here. About like that. Might want to put this back a little further, because we've seen on some of the other Expedition Centers that they have weird hitboxes in the front, where they kind of clip across the path and block other stuff from getting put in, which would be really bad for us. I think we'll do that. Then we need the Control Center still, of course. I'm going to wait on the Research Center. What do we want to do with you? Huh. So we got this whole section back in here, right? We don't really want to block this. This is probably where we'll end up putting in our power stations. We could try and put this in sideways like this. We could definitely fit like a staff center in front of it. Possibly some other stuff. I'm thinking, yeah, we'll do that. And then, I guess we'll just go straight. That's fine. Right like that. Okay, so there's all of that infrastructure. We need power, of course. Let's go ahead and smooth this. Or flatten this out. Hold a little bit. We'll have to watch our money here. Starting with a carnivore is going to be a bit more expensive than starting with a nice herbivore like a Struthi. We got to keep that in mind. Also might run into some issues with scientist selection related to that in part. I've already scouted out what we need. I should put the hatchery in first. Maybe we should put the hatchery in first. The hatchery is kind of weirdly shaped. It comes out at this angle. Terrain constraints from the water. We're already having a problem. Okay, we'll put the hatchery down this path a little bit. So let's get in the viewing gallery first. The viewing gallery, we want this to get kind of visibility directly on this lake from all sides, really. I'm going to go ahead and smooth this out, or flatten this out a little bit further forward. We're running the risk of wasting too much money here flattening. But I'm confident we'll be fine. As long as we can get a Ceratosaur spoilers incubating, we'll be good to go. So I think we want to put this in like that. That's a little bit off-centered, and I kind of hate that. We'll have to live with it. We can fix it later. It's fine. So the fence will come in over here somewhere like this. We'll continue this path down here a little further. And we'll go ahead and flatten this back out to make sure we don't have any issues with the hatchery. Again, probably too much flattening happening here. We could have tried to maybe pick a flatter part of the park. Or maybe I should have put in the hatchery first before I put in the power. That's probably ultimately what we should have done. Obstructed by standard path. Okay, so I think that'll be good. That links to there. Get rid of the nub. Then we're coming over here. I think we go up. Why don't we go from here first? So we'll go 1, 2 fence links out, 1, 2 down, which would clip over the water. Let's go up a partial section just to catch the backside of the waterway here without disrupting the hillside too much. That dip there is a little weird. It's a really sharp. I'm going to actually, as bad as this is, I'm going to extend this out more and redo it. I'd like to not mess up that terrain. It's kind of cool with that back section of dirt and rock here that's kind of like leading to the watering hole, so I'd like to leave that intact if we can. This is awkward. We're going to have some problems here too, I think. Let's go like this, and then like this. Make sure we can snap this correctly without snapping to the weird side edge. Okay, so there's our Cerato pen in theory. Just gotta wait for everything to build at this point. We'll need scientists, but we'll put off buying the scientists until the last minute. Oh, one other thing we can do. Missions. Request a new contract. So, we'll get a contract soon. I'm curious if this will work. I think I'm willing to burn $45,000 here on an experiment. Increase the number of guests. Build a lagoon. Or your amenities can earn more. Let's do number of guests. Have 50 guests. If we get this done in 10 minutes, we get this $50,000 bonus. This is a new thing. At least that's what I assume that means. There.
Dr. Henry Wu here.
So that seems to be an interesting thing, where you don't start with a mission, but you do have access to a mission right away.
The world wants to exploit us or shut us down. These are the extremes we face. That's why we stay focused on the job at hand. Add this new objective to the list.
Okay, so I'm going to shut you down immediately. We're going to shut you down immediately. We want to minimize the amount of power we're wasting here on this backup generator for sure. So, Ceratosaurus, it's 2 logistics. So I'll have to hire our first scientist. I think we want to just hire the 1. Faster expeditions right now is probably really good actually. 195,000. That's another thing to consider is the cost here. Basically, once we get the 1 Cerato out, we're good. But until then, we're running a risk of failure. 123. 2 logistics. 211. 200. I think we'll do faster. She's not too bad for price, and getting the fossils in slightly quicker will actually make a difference at this stage. We might consider firing her at some point, because faster expeditions is, I think, pretty worthless in the long run, but I think here it's pretty important. Yeah, we'll just wait for her to come in here with these fossils. We'll have to hire somebody with genetics to process them as soon as she arrives. Make sure we pause right away. Okay, so what do we got? We've got some shrimps to sell for 40k. And then we've got 87% Ceratosaurus genome. So if this works out like it did last time in my test run, yeah, this is completed. So the remaining Ceratosaurus fossils are locked behind a 5 logistics dig site over here in the USA, Morrison Formation A. So I think we're going to just roll with this. We'll put out an 87% complete Ceratosaurus for now, and then we'll work on finishing the genome when the park is actually stable. We have 1 genetics. We need at least 2 more here. But we actually need 5 or 6 for the Cerato itself, depending on what we want to do with the genome. Now, she might be good to cheaper incubation, except she costs $475,000. This one's $83,000. Faster research. If we bring in you, we're going to need another genetics person to synth the dino. But that's true regardless, because our first guy only has 1 point. So even the 3 is not enough. That's a little tough. Well, let's grab you. In my test save, I sent 2 Ceratos. I don't think that's correct. We'll do 1 in the actual run here. So we'll grab you. We'll get these these processed with both of our scientists. So you guys do that. This will run for 2 minutes. I think we'll do a quick cut while that processes. Okay, our fossils are done now. Ceratosaurus is viable. Let's go ahead and activate this now. 87%. We still need 5 genetics, so we're going to have to hire another person here. Interestingly, you start with Death Valley in lithobates for the pattern and color, and I don't know why. Rana is the canon color, so I'm a little annoyed that we don't get to start with that. I think what we'll do is we'll do lithobates for the pattern, and we'll randomize the skin color. That way we at least get a pattern Cerato here. I think we want to keep this at 5. Yeah, if we go above 1 modification, it jumps to 6. I think we'll put 25% chance at long-lived and call it a day. And that'll give us... We're only going to get 1 Serrato here, I think. So the batch size is 2 to 4. So we have decent odds of finding a long-lived Serrato in that batch. That we need to get... Yeah, we need to hire that scientist still. Still paused. That's good. So, we need 2 more genetics. We also need welfare to hatch the thing. 3 welfare on you, 420,000 is not good. 2 welfare on you, but only 1 genetics. Ew, look at this mess. So, we have a big problem here. And the big problem is... there is nobody specifically that meets our requirements. I don't think I wrote down what the hatching requirement was. We've got 2 welfare between these 2. Well, there's no other way about it. We absolutely need that genetics points, which is this guy. It's annoying that he's cheaper synthesis. I should have picked him up first. Maybe he wasn't even there? I'm sure he was, because we saw the cheaper incubation person. I don't know why I missed that. Sloppy. Should have picked him up. Saved us money. Actually would have been a good spread of scientists. Well, it's too late now. It's fine. Oh no, we haven't done the synthesis yet. The synthesis is the 5. I'm dumb. I needed the other scientist to do the extraction. No, I did this right. Well, I didn't do this wrong, let's say. I didn't overtly mess this up. So we saved a little bit of money here getting you synth. We have 1,200,000 left. We'll synth our 1 Serrato. That'll take 30 seconds. Except less when we go on fast mode. Boom, boom, boom. $1 million to spend. Okay. 3 viable eggs. We got fit, we got nothing, and we got humble, long-lived, and fit. Sonoran Desert Lethal Baits. That's the one to go for. 550 thou. 2 eggs is 1,100,000, which puts us to broke. Which means we'll go broke and start going bankrupt before it hatches. We definitely only do the 1 egg here. We also do need to hire that scientist as well, which is going to put us out. So we need 2 more welfare. Yes, 2 more welfare. Oh, shit. It just refreshed. We just hit... This is definitely a new scientist, right? Pretty sure. We can actually spend 443,000 if we want a 6 welfare dude, which actually might be worth it for the long run. His cost per minute's not the worst. I mean, this guy's got a really good cost per minute, but we'll consider that. Honestly, she's pretty good too. She'll require more investment to get her up. But her caps here are pretty similar. 5,310 versus 4,409 is like no functional difference ultimately. But cheaper research is way better than welfare specialist in the long run here. Two welfare, 291,000 logistics specialist. Faster treatment, 183. Actually, faster treatment's not bad either. 183 versus 443 versus 420,000. Okay, I'm thinking we pick up cheaper research, and then we fire somebody. It's a tough call to make. We could also pick this guy up. He's like nothing. Positive influence is not bad. It's generic. I mean, what are the other cost time reduction dudes? 50%. 50% for specific or 20% for anything if teamed up. Okay, I want the cheaper research person for sure. So there's our 6 welfare. Or, well, we need 5 welfare, but there's 6. We need 3 logistics. Yeah, so what would be really good is to get somebody with 3 logistics in here. Oh, shit, I wish I could see the scientists now. I should have looked for 3 logistics person as well, while we could see them. Okay, I don't like faster. I don't like faster here. Cheaper synthesis is fine. The dig site was, I believe, 5, right? 5. So if we fire a 1 logistics person like this faster research guy, we could still go fossil digging, which is good. We still have the genetics we need to extract. And then when it's time to synth the new Cerratos, we could hire a new person and try to get a 3 genetics person in then. We'd still have cheaper research. Yeah, that might be the play. I think we'll plan to fire the faster research guy here. It's also worth considering the fact, though, that he's really cheap per minute. That's a fair consideration. I'm gonna think about this for a second. I'm gonna pause this recording. You know, I think we fire both. Not immediately, but I think eventually we fire both. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to fire the faster expeditions person because she's twice the cost of Powell. We'll keep Powell on staff to get that Cerrato hatched. And maybe do some research tasks, too, to get the park infrastructure going. But I think we will immediately fire this person to save that money. We do have this contract that'll get finished here pretty quickly, too. But I don't think we want to count on that money making any real difference in that in the cost there. So all 3 of you. It also means that we can use up Powell's faster research here on something, and then fire him before we have to rest him, which is also not bad. We'll get the most use out of Powell before we replace him. So these Cerratos are coming in, or the 1 Cerrato is coming in a minute. Then we got to make sure we get in the food. We start with only the regular carnivore feeders, so we'll have to wait to deal with that. I'm really tempted to flatten this awkward edge out here. Maybe we can just smooth it off a little bit. Oh, we have like no money. This is such a bad idea. But I don't like the way it looks. Alright, let's get you out. We're not going to take the time to watch that animation. That's valuable clock time that we cannot spend. You get activated. Get the park open for business. Open the park. And shutter the hatchery immediately.
Hey, I've heard a lot about you, so here's a little about me.
Well, there's our Cerrato. It's an interesting look for it.
No need for formalities. Besides, in the park, we've got to watch each other's backs. Now, people think we're in the dinosaur game.
So you are Sonoran Desert Lethobates, which is a very interesting vibe for you, being this sandy Ceratosaurus in this area. Trying to get a better look at it here. Yeah, so very sandy colored, very light striped. I mean, I guess it's vaguely reminiscent of like the gray Camp Cretaceous Ceratosaurus, but it's not really the one we're looking for necessarily.
We're entertainers, and our headliner.
Okay, so your environment is still updating. Can we get a goat feeder for you? We can, in fact. We don't have to research that. That's good. Let's sneak it in right about there on the waterfront.
65 million years to make the show, so let's make it a good one.
Our contract seems to have disappeared in the corner, which is probably a good thing.
If it's not obvious by now, the only thing keeping this a park and not a prehistoric hunting ground are the fences. Let's see what we can do to improve them.
Okay, we got open space. We might need some forest here. We could let her move around a little bit more first. I don't know. We'll sneak in. We'll sneak in a little bit extra here, at least along the waterfront there.
Hi, I'm Claire Deering. I know it must be
Yeah,
overwhelming to meet all these
82%.
new people.
She can form the rest of
You're
her
about to
territory
embark
here,
on
and
a
she should be pretty good.
life-changing adventure. Certainly was for me.
Okay, profit per
Trust me,
minute.
you'll
Minus
understand.
11. Looks like we're still going up, though. We haven't leveled off or anything.
Now this dinosaur is something special.
And what happened to our mission?
Well, they're all something special.
Oh,
But
it is
this one
complete.
stands
Okay.
out because of the horns on top of its head.
Okay, so we put on Dinosaur Escapes at high, which apparently is anywhere in that threshold. She hasn't even finished forming her freaking territory. So that's kind of dog shit, huh? That's actually, like, pointless as a setting, then. If they're going to break out almost immediately upon exiting the hatchery, that's incredibly shit. Well, okay. So... speed at which an uncomfortable dinosaur attempt to break out of its closure. Yeah, so she's not even uncomfortable. I don't even think that applied. Okay, so clearly high escapes is bullshit. At least we're starting with, like, a ceratosaur, apparently. This probably ruins the park, I would imagine. We can afford a response facility. Park is closed. Everybody out.
It's called Ceratosaurus.
Everybody out. Everybody out. I wonder if we can cheese this, maybe. Maybe she'll chill out here for a second, and we can sneak a fence in around it.
It kind of looks
We'll
like
try
a
that,
slightly
too.
smaller T-Rex, but its bite is probably about the same.
Nope. Well, we tried.
I'm not working for accolades. Not yet.
Come on, response
Legacy
facility.
comes
Come
much
on,
later.
response
For
facility.
now, we need to understand as much as we can about the dinosaurs if they are to be a viable
Yeah, this is extremely bullshit.
commodity. So, continue your efforts.
Run, you shits! The park's closed. Get out of here. Go. Leave. Wait, how is her... oh, her health was down from attacking the fence. No! Did you kill those people? Are they properly dead? They're probably properly dead, huh? They don't count as kills. I'm sure they're going to destroy the safety rating. Wait, how are these not 0? Maybe because the park is officially closed, it doesn't matter. Alright, get in there, you idiot. You! Deactivate. Park. That's not my park. You are my park. Open. Not that it probably matters, but we'll go ahead and open the park up. It won't, until she's transferred back into the enclosure, we're not going to be making any money here.
Commencing asset transit.
How much are we bleeding? 34. So, probably time to consider firing this research guy now that we had that disaster. We need a staff center soon. Ish. Paleomedical, too. Okay, so the high priority stuff here is like paleomedical, 1 and 3, staff center, which is 3. So basically 3 and 3 in logistics. We don't need anything else but basic amenities. Guest comfort doesn't matter. We start with everything that we need. So I'm thinking just those. We've got Dilophosaurus we can add. If we want to get an herbivore, we start with a Marg and a Pseudoneither, which are viable. Parasaur is right here. We need 0.5 stars only, which we can get to. But we don't know what the research requirement's going to be on that. Kentrosaurus, 4 genetics. We want to bring in a new genetics person anyway. Yeah, so if we... One and 3. Yeah, I think we just focus on those first 2 genetics, first 2 research things we need to do, and then go from there. So the paleomedical for 1 and a 3, and the staff center for 3. So we don't need the faster research guy for anything. Let's get the paleomedical facility in. We've fired the faster research guy immediately. And then hopefully we get in the green here in a second. And now she's going to have to like reform her damn territory.
This is an unexpected surprise.
Increase the gas for 300 or employment drive.
What brings you to my lab?
Or diversity. I think popular. Because we probably don't have any guests on that contract.
Random, but in truth, it is deterministic.
Boom. Instantly
We just
completed.
don't see the underlying
Good
pattern.
stuff.
We don't know where to look.
We don't know what her situation is yet. We can put a gate in, and we can manually check her.
And just as importantly, when to look. And that's it.
So, as long as that breakout shit doesn't happen again, we changed the settings so it shouldn't, I would assume. We should be fine.
They're here now.
Okay, so we get her updated. Make sure that stays. She still needs forest, but she doesn't have any of this stuff over here in her territory yet. So she's...
It is
there she
wrong
goes.
to
She's fine.
associate chaos with an upheaval in plans. Chaos.
Alright, so we learned an important lesson today, and that important lesson is do not ever put dinosaur breakouts on high, because it's bullshit. Okay, we're in the profit. We're making a profit here, marginal. So what we're going to do is we're going to use just the 2 scientists we have here to work on our research requirements for the initial infrastructure and get our amenities and everything and get all that set up. Then we'll hire in new scientists and start doing expeditions again. Oh shit, I didn't think about power. Let's look at that. I forgot the power is a thing. 5. So we'll need to hire somebody for power, but we need to do that anyway, I think, with the people we fired. Actually, we could look right now. We need 2 logistics. Ideally, like 2 logistics, 3 genetics would be amazing. And it looks to me like we're out of luck on that front. $6,000 a minute, altruistic salary. 4,000 a minute, positive influence. Maybe we should have just kept the guy we had. 533. What's this guy down here? What are your stats? 822. That's a really interesting spread of skills there. I feel like high logistics and somebody without a specialized ability is actually kind of dog. Well, we'll worry about scientists later. We can try and let another month go by, maybe. 13 minutes on the backup generator. No, we really do need to get power going. ASAP. Yeah, that takes almost all of our money to refill. Okay, well, we'll worry about that next episode. We'll try to find a good dude to bring in here to get power research done. I probably should have thought of that before I fired people. Well, whatever. We'll find somebody who's going to be more viable long term.